And to help us pick our way through what looks like a rather confused and contradictory picture, I'm joined now from London by David Buik from BGC Partners. David, welcome to the programme.
Tiki, good evening.
Well, now the market seems so optimistic once again. Is this the bank bailout for Spain? What are you hearing?
I think it's got to be a bit grander than that. I think there's a touch of the old gung-ho, fixed bayonets and over the top here. And I think it's probably going to start at 3:30 or 3 o'clock our time when Ben Bernanke gives a little bit of testimony. And I think he's going to say, due to the appalling employment numbers last Friday, when they were only plus 65,000, that we are probably going to need a little bit more quantitative easing. He'll use it as a domestic situation for doing it, but I think he's far more concerned about what's happening to Europe. In about half an hour's time, I think we'll probably hear Dr. Mervyn King, or should I be more respectful, Sir Mervyn King, the Governor of the Bank of England, will also say there'll be no change in interest rates in the UK, but we think that he'll probably suggest another increased facility of another £50 billion to be used sometime in the next 3 months, taking it up from 325 to 375 billion. Mario Draghi was very, very clear, which your statement said, is don't look to me. You guys get your act together, and then you tell me what the rules are, and I will implement them. Yeah. And he's 100% right.
Yeah, so going back to the US for a moment, that hint that we might get from Ben Bernanke would be about some form of QE3. Now, is that doing... What will that be in terms of creating the stimulus?
Well, it just depends on how you want to look at it, Tiki. I mean, quantitative easing, there's no proof that it works anything but temporarily, providing respite and increasing confidence. And one of the things I think you need to be particularly careful of is that if the macroeconomic outlook for jobs, for growth, for exports isn't particularly good, you might just be chucking money down the drain. But it seems to be the only game in town at the moment, and I think Ben Bernanke's got to play that ace in the hole. There's no question of any doubt about it, as has the Bank of England, and I think we'll find that the ECB will in a roundabout way. But they're obviously going to be much more concerned about bringing into the play the EFSF and also the ESM in terms of providing...
Yes, let me go there now. Let me go there now, because that's the heart of these concerns, isn't it? It's the bank bailout for Spain. Do you think that will actually be affected now?
We're in danger zone now. It has to happen, and I hope it will happen. And if it's a coordinated European effort to provide a pool for banking bailouts in Europe, so be it. But what we haven't seen, as we've said so many times in recent weeks, Tiki, is general agreement by all the European countries. Germany and France, they hold the ace and the queen of spades. And the fact remains is they've got to play them, because if they don't believe in the European Union. This is make up your mind time, because things are getting very desperate. We talked about contagion. They're creating the contagion. If they dealt with Greece some weeks ago and dealt with the Spanish situation, or had a plan that they've been prepared to serve. I know I make trite comments and the rest of it, and it's a very complicated issue with grillions and grillions of euros at stake. But the situation just gets worse if it's left in the current state of disarray.
I suppose on the positive side, and trying to convince Angela Merkel to move on this, is that Nicolas Sarkozy, that French-German axis has now gone. We've got David Cameron, I think, over meeting with Angela Merkel now. Do you think that he will be able to do much to convince her?
I think he's got to convince her that, you know, that we are in literally critical zone for the whole area. And everybody gets adversely affected because, you know, we know that the Mediterranean countries are not going to show any growth this year and possibly none next year. Germany is being dragged down. It affects the whole world. And the United Kingdom, because 50% of our trade is done with Europe, is adversely affected.
And, of course, I was going to say, sorry to interrupt you, but Britain doesn't want to actually be part of the bank bailout. And I think your Chancellor this morning has made that quite clear.
He's absolutely clear we will not be part of this bank bailout, and quite right too. We are not part of the eurozone. We never wanted to be, and nor should we be. London is still the leading financial centre of the world, the centre of the time zone. It should attract capital market business for the benefit of the whole world. It's in a very strategically important place. And I think that's absolutely key, Tiki.
Now, all right. Well, you've had a very good few days over there. Thank you very much for joining us.
We've enjoyed it. Thank you for inviting me.